let me first give you a quick background on my own thing, right? So I didn't talk about the languages I speak myself. So obviously English, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati a little bit, and in foreign languages. Although I learned French in my school and college in Alliance Française, which is the institute, and with Goethe Institute, I learned. So in both these places, in German as well as French, I've only studied like the basics, right? So which is why I say I'm a language jugadu. I'm not a language expert at all. But because of that base, because of French base in my school, college, and Alliance, it became very easy for me to pick up Spanish on my travels when I first went to South America in 2008. So when you go to South America in 2008, you don't have a smartphone with you. You have no other option but to, matlab, jhak maar ke you have to learn Spanish. But for me, it was not jhak maar ke, it was out of love and passion because I also like to actually be there, culturally present, soak in, what, and blend in with the locals, live like them, experience living in that city the way they are. So that's the reason I wanted to learn Spanish, right? So I had a friend with whom I was traveling in Ecuador and Colombia and then Brazil. She was with me in Ecuador, and when she left for the airport, I dropped her at the airport. I only had a phrase book with me, a tiny little pocket phrase book of Spanish. No internet, nothing, right? So, and I'm in the cab. So suddenly I'm looking at the phrase book and I'm just telling the cab driver, like, oh, izquierda, derecha, whatever. So just trying to literally look at the book and do it the jugad way, which is how my love for languages started. Yeah, love for or hacking languages or hacking doing the jugad started. So in this session, I'm going to take you through Brazilian Portuguese and Latin American Spanish because that's what I picked up there. But one quick tip is that if you speak French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, or Romanian, these are part of the Romance group of languages. So you speak one and the other one becomes easier. So because of French, like I said, Spanish became easier and then Portuguese became even more easier. And now my favorite language is Portuguese. It's a very beautiful sing-songy kind of language. So let's move forward. So I'm going to take you through this method of mine, which I call phrases, immersion, mimicking, phonetics, and then practicing, obviously. Beginning with phrases. So I will just rush through this presentation till we go to the actual workshop where we actually going to have fun. Stop me any way you want. If you want me to go back to something, we can just do that quickly. With phrases, like I said, this was my starting point. Wherever you're going, maybe try to pick up a CD or not CD. What am I talking about? Not a CD, but a podcast or something where you are immersing in that. You're listening to the way the phrases are spoken, right? So I always say that the way you say something is more important than what you say. It can be tuta futa. મારી ગુજરાતી પણ એટલી બધું સારું નથી. But my Gujarati friends, when they listen to me, they are like, oh, it's like messing the feminine and masculine or whatever, but they get my point, right? So that is what more important. The way you speak is more important than what you say. So which is why I say these phrase books are important, but the audio part of it is very important. So this is how I started with these phrase books, yeah? Then coming to immersion, I think everybody knows about Duolingo, but within Duolingo, there are two things which I suggest. One is stories.duolingo.com, because Duolingo as such is good for phrases, for words, right? To learn words, to grow your vocabulary. But to really get better at conversational language, go to stories.duolingo.com because that is where you will actually have real life scenarios being enacted. That, oh, you are in a grocery store, what kind of phrases are you going to use there? If you're in a cab, what kind of phrases are you going to use there? So don't just use Duolingo if you're using it. Go to stories.duolingo.com. They also used to have events.duolingo.com where you could have these kind of events where people would meet and practice Spanish, Portuguese, whatever languages they want to learn. They've stopped now, but we can start these kind of things on our own, if anybody is interested. Besides Duolingo, Tandem, Lingby, and Babbel are great platforms which you can check out. What is nice about these is that they have native speakers. So if you want to learn, say, Japanese, they will have people in Japan talking to you. I think initially all of them go with the freemium model. So initially it is free, and then after a certain point, they will be like, okay, pay for a certain subscription fee or whatever. But you can get started. These are great ways to immerse, to talk like a local. This is one of my favorite things. So wherever I have gone, I have blablalanguageexchange.com and Mundolingo. These are two awesome communities. Wherever you go on your travels, if you want to make friends, this is one great way of doing it. So what they do is, I have attended a Mundolingo meetup in Hanoi, sorry, Blah Blah Exchange meetup in Hanoi, Mundolingo meetup in Rio, one in Bangkok. So in all these places, what happens is, imagine all of us are there and we are all wearing badges or flags of the languages that we speak. Yeah. So I know that Matty is wearing English, and if he's wearing French, for example, then I can. So the flag which is at the top is your primary language, and the ones which are at the bottom are the languages which you want to learn. So it's a very fun way of interacting with people, and you go and approach them saying, "Oh, you speak this language. I want to learn it. Let's chat." These are physical meetups. Wherever you go and travel, check out if there are these meetups happening. Blah blah as well as Mundolingo. They are free to attend. There is no fee for it. Next, coming to the mimicking part, right? So mimicking, you can call it mimicking, immersion, whatever. But anytime I get excited about going to a new destination, I always make it a point to say, what is the culture like? And that culture can be perhaps best experienced through movies, through music, through podcasts, through the radio. One thing I've missed in this slide deck, which I wanted to put later on, is another website called, I don't know if anybody here is a radio head, people who like radio. On my travels to South America again in 2008, when you did not have internet access on your phone, I actually took a radio. I'm not kidding. I actually took a radio device with me. And the reason for that was because I wanted to, when I'm going through bus transport, I wanted to listen to what they are saying, how they are saying, so that I start mimicking that. So now that we use less of radio, maybe you can use this website called Radio Garden. I think the URL is radiogarden.com or radio.garden. I'm not sure. Just look up Radio Garden, you'll find it. The beauty of Radio Garden is it is the world's radio in one website. It's again premium. You can use it 99% free. For that 1%, you can pay to get rid of the ads and whatever. Radio Garden. Then you have these things, right? If you're going to want to go to Brazil, if you want to learn Portuguese, these are the movies that I have enjoyed watching, and you could watch Rio, Amor.com, Rating Around Brazil, Airplane Mode. You can proceed, please. And then for Spanish, I would recommend these ones. I'm not a big fan of this show because I love, love, love Colombia. I absolutely love that country and the people. So when people equate Colombia with narcos and with, oh, you're going to Colombia, I know why. It's the same nonsense that people talk when they think about going to Thailand, for example. It's a very nomadic, it's a digital nomad friendly place. It is one of the best places you can visit right now in South America. I'm a big evangelist of this country. In fact, I love this country so much. I used to talk about it all the time to people, friends and family and Twitter. And I had won a trip to Colombia at one point in time. So that love for the country came back to me. So yeah, but this playlist, right? This playlist called Speak Spanish Like El Patron is a very interesting playlist you will find on YouTube, because they teach you all the stuff they talk about in that series, and then you can pick up the language in a fun way. And then there are these Netflix series, or I don't know, just look up which platform they're available on. Machos Alpha, they have 3 seasons. It's a very fun, coming of age kind of a series about alpha males trying to be alpha males, but they realize they're not alpha anymore. And then there is The Influencer. Again, I'm picking up these ones because they are very relatable. You will enjoy watching these kind of shows. That was for Spanish. Another hack is, what is the sound when you hear Netflix? Tudum. So, so there is this website called tudum.com/top10/insert country name. So in this case, I have put tudum.com/top10/Ecuador. What it will give you is, what are the top shows or movies being watched in that country right now. So this is again a great way to kind of internalize or become a local before you even go there, saying, yeah, I know you're watching this because I watched this. And then suddenly the person is going to be like, what? You already know my favorite shows? That's awesome. So you're going to make friends much more faster. Now, this is the fun part. Now the fun with language starts. So like I said earlier, right? It's not what you say, it's how you say. It's the phonetics that matters in the language more than grammar. Grammar is, in fact, I would say grammar is bakwas. It's absolute bakwas when it comes to your travel, not as a student, not if you are learning language in a in a scholarly way, in a going to an institute or whatever. But when you are on your travels, forget about grammar. Just stick to the phonetics, the way it is said. Yeah. So now this is the fun part. Now we are all going to try speaking these things. So hello, good morning, or good afternoon. Can someone, anyone randomly, you could, it could be you, whoever, try to say these words.
In Spanish, right?
Just what is written here.
Okay. Hola, buen dia. Buenos tardes.
Buenos días, buenas tardes.
Drupal, you know Spanish. That's cheating. but yeah, so that is my hack. This is my hack. I don't know if you got it. But the simple hack is forget about English. When you're trying to learn a foreign language, please, English is firstly not our native language, right? Our matrubhasha, whatever is your first language, which your mother taught you, is probably not going to be English, right? It can be English, it can be Marathi, it can be Hindi, Gujarati, Telugu, Tamil, whatever. And I guarantee you that the Indian languages have better phonetics than English, right? So just write it down in your mother tongue, whatever it is. That's my simple hack. So let's all try to, say these words. So I'll tell you the exact pronunciation. So the Portuguese one is hola. Or, so actually, even when you go there, when you're in Brazil, nobody says hola. Hola is actually a Portuguese way of saying it. Brazilians say oi. They just say oi. Oi. That's it. Bom dia. Bom dia. It's again how you say it, right? They gave us the pau, by the way. The vada pav, we would not have pav without the Portuguese. They brought us the pav. So we already speak some Portuguese. Pav. So, bom dia. Portuguese is a little nasal. It's bom dia. Boa tarde. Boa tarde. Good afternoon. Bom dia is good morning. Boa tarde is good afternoon. In Spanish, it is hola, buenos dias, buenas tardes. If that is too complicated for you, the hack for it, just say buenas. Buenas. You're passing by and you're meeting some strangers. It's a very common thing there to just say that out of, hey, what's up? We just say that saying, what's up, man? So similar way, they just say buenas. Forget about tardes or, dias or noche or whatever it is. Then the next one is, who wants to try this? Tell me your name in Portuguese.
Meu nome é Sam.
Perfect. Perfect. You spoke Portuguese, man. Meu nome. Yeah. Somebody wants to try Spanish? If I had written this in English, you would all get the pronunciation wrong.
Mi nombre es Vatsal.
Mi nombre.
Nombre es.
Mi nombre es
Nombre es
Vatsal.
Vatsal.
Perfect. Okay, next phrases. Nice to meet you. Who wants to try that? You have the mic. Go for it.
Prazer.
Prazer.
Okay.
So the full word, nobody says nice to meet you. Nobody says, the full sentence is prazer em conhecê-lo. Or prazer em conhecê-la. Nice to meet you. If it's a guy, it's prazer em conhecê-lo. If it's a woman, it's prazer em conhecê-la. But nobody says the full sentence. You just say prazer. Like, nice to meet you, right? And then Spanish. Anybody else want to try?
Encantado.
Perfect. Encantado. Igualmente. Anybody else want to try some more, or shall we proceed? Because I would much rather we interact more than focusing on these. These phrases I am also going to put up on a web page which you can access at any time. Yeah. So we can just proceed then. Yeah. Most important question. Most important question whenever you are in a new country or a new place, right? My mom would agree. It's a little difficult, the pronunciation, at least in Portuguese, but who wants to give it a try? Shreya.
Onde fica o banheiro?
Banheiro. Yeah.
Banheiro.
Yeah, pretty close. Onde fica o banheiro?
Fica.
So again, it's a little nasal. Onde
Yeah.
fica o banheiro? It's
Onde
also very
fica
sing-songy.
o
It's like,
banheiro?
in Marathi we call it Hail Cardinal. The way you sing song, way you sing it, right? Onde fica o banheiro? You don't even say onde fica o banheiro. You say onde fica o banheiro. It's like this. It's a wavelength. This is probably easier to say. Somebody else, you want to attempt?
¿Dónde está el baño?
El baño.
El baño.
El baño. Yes.
¿Dónde está el baño?
El baño. But again, like I said, it doesn't matter whether you speak it a little imperfectly. The person will get it. Even if you had said al baño, people would have got it, right? What you're trying to ask. And they will say this way or that way or whatever. It doesn't matter what they are saying. You will get your answer.
But the Portuguese was more fun.
It is more fun. It is. So, onde fica o banheiro? Or, ¿dónde está el baño? ¿Dónde está el baño? Very, very important phrases to know. And I would say wherever you're going, learn these phrases in those languages. So when I had gone with my parents to Japan in 1996, Maybe some of you were not born at that time. And at that time, I remember I had rectified, literally rotated 10 phrases in Japanese. I didn't speak it properly. I had just taken again a phrase book and I had rectified it. And it made such a huge difference because people will greet you with smiles. You know, when you are thanking somebody at the counter, when you're getting the ticket or whatever, when you're saying, you know, I'm confusing languages now. Arigato. Arigato gozaimasu. That's thank you. You know, konnichiwa. Oyasumi nasai. O genki desu. So all these phrases are just rectified. And today we live in the world of YouTube and Reels and all of these video channels where there are hundreds of people, you know, teaching you these phrases.
And exactly what you just said, when you have to break an ice with the guy who's sitting on next to you, you know.
Absolutely.
And if you say Arianto, that guy, the way he talks to you changes completely.
Exactly.
His attitude changes, and he, you know, he talks a different language altogether.
You have a friend already. You know, maybe not a friend, but at least somebody who will, you know,
He
sympathize or
loves
empathize.
Anybody who's talking my language in my place,
Absolutely.
things completely changes.
Absolutely.
The attitude changes.
I mean,
the
a simple
behavior.
example is imagine Matty coming and saying Namaste to us, and everybody's like, oh man, Matty, we love you already. So, yeah, that's very important. Shall we proceed? Again, shopping, very, very important phrase. Who wants to give this a try? It is very, very easy. Very, very easy.
Cuanto.
Cuanto, absolutely, perfect. I'm not even giving you the full phrase. So it could be cuanto vale in Spanish or cuanto es or whatever. But even if you say cuanto and while you're just passing saying cuanto, you know, somebody will give you that answer. And then of course you have to know your numbers because they will probably start talking to you again in Spanish. Yes. So un, dos, tres, cuatro, you know, whatever. Un dos, tres, cuatro in different languages. But again, it's important to again know these basics. If you know, for example, if you know that it's going to probably cost in, if you're going to Ecuador, for example, everything is in dollars. That country, the currency is dollars, US dollars, right? So the food is not going to be more than $10 on the street. It'll probably be 1, 2, 3, whatever, or point something. Then you should know those figures. So learn those. It's not too much. And trust me, knowing a language, even the very, very basic fundamentals, will change your travel experience 10x. It will make it richer. It will definitely not make it more challenging. You'll have more fun for sure. My personal guarantee. Thank you, Arabic. So who wants to go for it? So the Portuguese one, you want to try? Remember to keep it nasal, huh?
Que horas sei.
Thing. The South try to keep it nasal.
Sai.
Naak se. Que horas são.
Sau.
So, it's nasal. Naak mein bolna padta hai. So Portuguese is a little in some consonants, not the vowels. In the consonants, it usually goes into the nasal way of speaking. It is very similar to Konkani. So people who visited Goa, I'm pretty sure everybody's been to Goa. You will find a lot of similarities there. Because of course Portuguese ruled Goa till 1961, even after the rest of India got independence in 1947. So it has a great effect on the way people speak Konkani there also. It has a, you know, so if you want to learn Portuguese, actually, you can first start by trying to learn it in Goa. Very, very, very nice place to start it. The idea basically, main thing between Spanish and Portuguese is a little more wavy, sing-songy, nasal, whereas Spanish I equate it with Marathi actually, with my mother tongue. It's very similar to Marathi. I feel like when I speak in Spanish, I feel like I'm talking Marathi. It's that simple. It's that easy. So like I was telling him, you should definitely learn the basic numbers, right? So I'm talking about this example right now, right? Which is time. With time, if somebody says, they will give you an
So
answer.
time is something you can always check your phone or your watch. But for
Right.
anything else, if you're asking someone the way, if you're asking someone, is this food vegetarian? You know, it's very difficult to understand that.
Got it.
What is
Got
the?
it. Actually, that's a good
yeah.
point because I should have had that slide as, you know.
Yeah, because that's
is
the
this-
key question which I asked. That what is this food vegetarian? What does it have? It's very difficult to get a response then
I
because
agree.
for them, an egg like a meat. Sometimes meat is vegetarian, sometimes fish is vegetarian. So how do you get that response?
That's a good point. I agree. Because that's something which a friend of mine, when I went to Brazil for the first time, I had asked somebody who had been there, saying, how do I tell them that, I don't eat any meat? So he had told me this one phrase, and I'm just going to repeat it for you. I will update my slide deck so that when you access it, you will have these phrases also in it. But again, what I would say is best is, I don't know who was telling me this, somebody who had been to Japan was telling me that they actually carried these cue cards with them in their wallet, right? Some of them even carry pictures. There was one guy, so we have this meetup called Paid Pujaris where we meet up over food. And one of those guys had said this, that when he had gone to Japan, he had carried these kind of cards saying, I am gluten intolerant, I'm blah, 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 whatever were his dietary preferences, he had written down. So there you are not doing a conversation, but you are at least writing it down for them to understand, because it's an important thing for you, right? But with these for me, I call them icebreakers. They are just great to make friends. After a while, you can tell them that, I don't speak Spanish enough. And the way to say that is, no hablo mucho español. Hablas inglés? Do you speak English? I don't speak a lot. Or you can say, entiendo mejor que yo hablo. I understand better than I speak. Something like that, where they get that, okay, I should probably switch languages to English now. The idea is not to be perfect in your language. The idea is to break the ice, make friends, and then they will be okay speaking to you in English, right? It's almost like, I think the example would be something we had somebody from South India here who spoke like 5, Tamil, Telugu and all, right? It's like that. So when you go there, if you speak basic Kannada, basic Tamil, basic Telugu, very basic phrases, and then switch to Hindi or English, I guarantee you they will speak to you in it, right? Because you're making an attempt. If you don't make an attempt, you're insulting them. You're saying, I don't care about learning your language, right? But when you make an attempt, I guarantee you they will switch to the language you are comfortable with. The idea is to just break the ice, make friends. That's it.
Just to add on the example, right? I honestly started learning Kannada to get cheaper auto rates. Literally, I just go to him and yen samachara. It's absolutely that, right? Because they respond to you much better. So it's literally an icebreaker. You don't need to know what they say back to you.
So, it's also the words you say. So I don't speak enough Kannada, but I speak these words. And the way you say it, they will assume that, okay, you're a local. They know you are an outsider, but they know that you live here. And that gives you a great advantage. So when I say I speak Spanish and Portuguese and German, I know it enough to have given directions to locals in that language. It's not perfect, but I've given directions in those languages to the locals. So, valid question which he asked. But again, something like this can be a great hack, right? Where you are not expecting a verbal answer, but a visual answer. Can you show me this location on the map, right? So this is assuming you have a physical map, which I'm a big fan of still, because I'm from that generation which uses maps. And I really, really recommend, again, everyone, whenever you're traveling, please keep physical maps. They are beautiful. They also give you perspective, because when you're looking at a digital thing, you run out of battery, right? You're screwed. Instead of that, when you have a physical map, you learn so much more about that area. Sometimes there are also some tips and tricks given there. Okay, so I'll quickly take you through this now, yeah? So the Portuguese one is, pode me mostrar no mapa. Pode me mostrar no mapa. And in Spanish, it is ulta. Me puede mostrar en el mapa. Yeah. So again, you saw the difference. You heard the difference in the accent, right? How it's different. It's very similar, but the way you say it is a little different. We'll go a little faster now. We're almost done now. So thank you, everyone. And thank you in Portuguese is, if it's thank you very much, it's muito obrigado. If it's just thank you, it's obrigado. In Spanish, it is muchas gracias or muchas gracias. You don't even say the S sometimes. Muchas gracias. And that's it. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. You've been a fantastic audience. Hope you had fun. And like I promised, this is a QR code which you can scan, and you will find this presentation. I will update it with those changes here. And exoticringo.com is my blog. I have a page here called kaushal.page/lingo, where you can find all of this along with the updates which I will be doing. And I'm at exoticringo on all social channels. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Obrigado.